Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out in the wonderful little country town of Denman in rural New South Wales. I'm about 2 hours west of Newcastle at the moment, and we are heading further west this week. And the end destination for tomorrow is hopefully going to be Canowindra. And yeah, I've got to do a little bit of recon out there for a job that I've got to do end of next month. So yeah, I've been taking a little bit of a break from YouTube, so I do apologise for that. But yeah, hasn't been without its dramas, that's for sure, I promise you. Here's the van. Still got the bike on the back, and yeah, I've just been parked up here. It's Denman for a couple of hours, just had a couple of drinks. Had a bite to eat. It's quite nice out here. I'd recommend it if anybody else is considering coming out to central New South Wales. If you're in the van, they do free camping in this spot that I'm in right now for up to 2 days, and yeah, you just go spend a bit of money at the pub. So as far as supporting locals go and supporting rural communities, it's right up there. But anyway, go jump in the car and head on out to, I think we're going to go to Rylstone for tonight, and check out maybe a couple of wineries and all that sort of stuff out there, and stop in at the pub that I've been told I have to stop in at. And yeah, who knows, I might even do a van tour today if I feel up to it. There's been a couple of modifications inside, so yeah, it's about time that we do it, I think. But anyway, let's hit the road. Well, it's the next morning, and I stayed out here in Rylstone last night. So just stayed at the showground. It's just it's almost like a designated free camp spot. It's not listed as a free camp, but people are very welcoming. So yeah, I'm gonna be packing up and heading out to Canowindra today, and yeah, I'm gonna do when I get out there. Depending on how the weather is, it's supposed to be a little bit rainy out there. I might end up doing a van tour for you guys. So yeah, I put it up on my story last night saying who wants to have a van tour, so that's going to happen today as well. But yeah, first off, gonna enjoy a bit more of this foggy morning. You can probably see behind me, like that everywhere. It's so eerie, it's so cool. It's actually like almost 8 o'clock in the morning, so yeah. For the fog to be hanging around, it must have gotten a bit cool last night, although I don't think it got below the single digits, but it's definitely cooler than what it was for the day. So yeah, we'll head out to Canowindra, but first gotta load everything up and get ready to move.
Close to harmony, for the sound asleep. Something's gonna bring the change.
So I've been driving for about 2.5 hours now and made it out to a little town called Carcoar. It's home to the Carcoar Dam, and yeah, it's pretty cool out here actually. I've just pulled up a wind farm. They've got a dedicated viewing platform and everything for it, so I might go down and have a quick look. What do you reckon? It's also looks like there's a bit of a free camp down over here, so yeah, that's quite nice. But let's go down and see what it says down here. It looks like there's a couple of tables undercover, which is quite nice, and a water tank, so awesome. Yeah, it's only a very small water tank. Might be, you know, a couple of, maybe 200 litres, but yeah, see? Let's go have a look, see what it says down here. Oh, this is all undercover. How cool is that? Okay. Alright, so it says there's 15 turbines up here, jeez. My gosh. So it can produce 9.9 megawatts. Jeez. And then average annual output is 18 gigawatt hours. So basically powers for 5,000 homes a year. That's incredible. It was all put in back in 2000 by the looks of things. Each turbine, it says, each turbine is regulated to ensure that the wind farm operates at maximum output for all situations. Each turbine has its own computer control system that optimises its own energy output. That's pretty cool. Huh. Oh wow. So these turbines, the ones up here, they actually rotate as well as spin. So that's pretty cool. Wow. That is amazing. So this is the Blaney Wind Farm. So I suppose that makes sense. Blaney's just back over that way a little bit, maybe 10 minutes out. So yeah. Jeez, they spin up to 61 kilometers an hour for maximum power. That is incredible. Alright, well, I'm going to jump back in the van and continue heading out. Well, this has been a nice little stop off, so yeah, it's a little too windy. Yeah, I know. It's a little too windy to put the drone up, I think, so I'm just not even gonna bother. But yeah, next stop's gonna be Canowindra. So yeah, we'll catch up with Mum and Dad out there, I think, and yeah, settle in. I've got a free camp spots marked out, so we'll park up there and then jump on the bike and go into town and see them, and maybe get some lunch as well, because I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. Alright, peace.
Journeys we are meant to take, something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away. Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I, jumping off the edge. They say dreamers never die, so come and fly, come and fly, come and fly away with me.
Welcome to Canowindra. Hi Mum.
Hello.
Mum likes to photo bomb everybody, so yeah. But it's Dad.
Herbert.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hey Dad, I just have one question. Why?
Because they're pretty.
Pretty.
Somebody help me. Who invited you guys? Oh wait. Oh wait.
We were here first.
What am I doing out here? Jeez, okay. Yeah, we're out of I can't even words now, thank you. Yeah, Canowindra, and just had really awesome pub lunch, but
Oh, we should take a photo of the pub, the old Vicky.
yeah, you should. You really should. I've already done that, so I'll put that up here for you guys. But yeah, it's a really awesome little country town, that's for sure. Not many cars, as you can clearly hear, but wide streets, as you find a lot in country New South Wales. So yeah, but I'm gonna go back to the van and find a parking spot for it, and yeah, what are these guys doing? Oh my gosh. Gonna park up and relax for a little bit, might have a bevy or two, and get started on this van tour for you guys. Check back soon. Well, I've made it to the spot that I'm going to be parking up for the night, but just checking out. Check out that storm. It's just rolling on past. It's so cool. But anyway, I thought we should get a bit of a start on my van tour. So yeah, I drive a 2005 Mercedes-Benz Vito. It is the base model 109 CDI. It is powered by a 2.1 litre turbo diesel engine and has a 6-speed manual transmission. It spent most of its life as a real estate billboard, and was all vinyl wrapped right up until the moment that I purchased it. It's currently got 415,000 kilometres on it, so it's about 260,000 miles. I'm not sure on the conversion exactly, but that's somewhere around there. Someone will correct me in the comments, no doubt. But yeah, let's check it out. So as you can see, I've done a little bit of modifications to the outside. I've put a CB antenna on the side here. It's great. It allows me to talk to people on the road and get updates on, you know, some of the dangers that occur on our New South Wales roads. I've currently got a solar blanket, 120 watt solar blanket on the window. It's charging through one of my solar charge controllers. I'm mostly using that to charge my jump starter, but up on the roof I've got 4 110 watt solar panels. They're all run in parallel, so I've got almost 450 watts of power, and I've got a massive 32-inch LED light bar on the front of them that lights up for about 1 kilometre down the road. So that's pretty cool. I've put on I actually had to replace my awning. Originally I had a 3.5 metre long by 3 metre wide awning, but it snapped while I was in a storm up in Byron Bay, so I've now I'm downgraded to a 2.5 by 2.5 metre one from the 4-wheel-drive Super Centre. Going along the outsides, the wheels are all still standard. They're not all-terrains or anything. I put this one-way film on the windows. It's not the best job. It's got a couple of lines and a couple of early nicks from where I cut it, but it's so good. I'm basically able to sit inside the van. People can't see in unless there's lights on inside. People don't see in unless they get right up close to the window, in which case, who does that? Only weirdos. But I've done that just on sides, on the side windows. So yeah, all the grey stuff that you can sort of see on here, that's all old glue from the vinyl wrap that I've slowly but painstakingly been removing. Yeah, it's the exact same on the opposite side. Coming down, the biggest thing that people comment on is my motorbike hitch carrier. I bought this off a website called catch.com.au, but you can buy these also at MCA's down in Sydney. It's a motorbike shop. But yeah, leads us on to the back. So forgive the entanglement of wires at the moment. I'm just in the middle of updating them, but I've got a 50 amp MPPT solar charge controller from JCar. It's running from the solar panels up on the roof down to there. It charges my batteries almost completely every single day, unless I go into like weather like that. But yeah, that actually brings me on to the next point. The batteries, I'm running 5 100 amp hour deep lithium batteries. So I went with lithium purely because of the weight and the usable capacity and their longevity. So I've been using them now full time in this van for about 6 months, but they've only turned off twice on me. Once was intentionally discharging them to 100%, and the battery management systems in them, they kick in and they say, nope, you've gone down to 11 volts, that's it, no more power. And they just turn off. That helps protect the cells. And yeah, the second time was when I hit thermal throttling on the solar panels. So they were only outputting, combined, they were only outputting about 20 to 30 watts. But yeah, it was it wasn't nice because it was like a 45-degree day and that was in the shade, so they had no chance. Yeah, but let's continue on. On the inside, I have you can't really see it here, let's turn the lights on. So I've got I've actually got four. I've got one LED light here, but I haven't got it plugged in at the moment. But I've got 4 LED downlights. They're slimline. They're about that tall, so quite low profile. But inside, where all the magic happens, I have obviously my temperature gauge. At the moment it's 31 degrees, so it's still quite warm. I'm out in obviously Canowindra, but yeah, it's quite warm still. But stepping in, we've got a 12 volt PC. So it's a little bit of a unique one. It has no moving parts. It is all solid state drives and solid state everything. And yeah, it's not, obviously it's not going to be hugely powerful, but yeah, it's got 4 gigabyte of RAM and it has a 1.7 gigahertz 1.6 or 1.7 gigahertz Intel Atom processor, so it's not too bad. It does well with like your basic things and and photo editing, but for anything video, I usually have to do it either on my phone or go back to my place and edit on the desktop PC. But that runs on 12 volts, so I was really lucky with that. It only cost I think $200 from Kogan, so couldn't argue with that. Come over to the monitor. The monitor I also got from Kogan. It's not a 12 volt monitor, contrary to popular belief. It runs off 240 volts, so under the bed I do have I don't think I'll be able to get that. I do have there's a 1500 watt pure sine wave inverter, but yeah, the monitor actually only draws 23 watts at peak. That's if it's on maximum everything, so maximum brightness, maximum refresh rates, everything. But most of the time it's only drawing about 15 to 20 watts. So draw that down to your 12 volts and you're drawing 1.5 amps an hour, which I never really have an issue with. Yeah, so that's pretty handy. I've got my Wi-Fi wireless speaker, my Bluetooth speaker that's paired to the PC, so I can, if I want to, I can pair obviously a bigger Bluetooth speaker, but that comes in handy. It's plenty powerful for inside here. Yeah, I'm on a custom cut size mattress. It's just a little bit smaller than a double bed, so it's 1.1 meters wide, but it's full length, so it goes 1.9 meters down. So even like a person that's 6 foot tall can quite easily sleep on the bed. So yeah, I've never had any complaints. It's a memory foam mattress, so it's got it's got 90 mils of high density foam, and then it's got another 30 mils, I think it is, of memory foam on top of that. So it comes in, it's very, very comfortable. But the bed itself reclines back into a lounge, so you can sit think I could sit about 3 people on this lounge, but yeah, it's very comfy. Yeah. The bed is all just timber slats. It's everything in here has been DIY. It's all been made by either myself or my dad, including the roofing. So roofing was just using pine lining boards, the tongue and groove, and yeah, it was just a case of slot them together, see that they fit. We actually didn't have to cut these physically down at all. These came in a 2.4 meter length, and 2.4 meters goes just a little bit shy of the cabin. So yeah, it's been fortunate. Just had to do a couple of cutouts for where the solar cables come through the roof down in through some of the wall cavities. Speaking of the wall cavities, they all have insulation in them. It's all stuffed full of earthwool insulation, so it's absolutely awesome. It maintains the temperature quite well almost all year round. Last night it dropped down to in here it dropped down to 21 degrees, so quite bearable for night time, and outside it actually dropped down to 11 degrees. So that was in Ralston. It was down the bottom of a valley. So yeah, I'm always very impressed with it. The only time that it doesn't do so well is if we get the 45 degree plus days. They're where it sort of retains the heat, and it might get down to like the low 30s overnight. And when that happens, I usually have a portable fan that I turn on, but I'm hoping to update my roof setup in the coming months and put in either a roof vent or a roof fan. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's continue around. So yeah, so once we open the whiz banger door up, as they call it, I've got one Dometic CFX40 fridge and another CFX40 freezer. So one set up as fridge, one set up as freezer. They're fridges and freezers, but yeah, until I upgrade to a dual zone fridge freezer, this is what I get to deal with. They're not, when you've got more than two, they're not exactly the most energy efficient, especially not in the situation I've got them set up in permanently. In saying that, they usually draw about 3 amps an hour combined, so I still once again have plenty of power for that. I'm still looking at 3 to 4 days before I start having to worry about plugging in and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, Dad and I did this addition last week, so we've put in used to be a big bench right here, cupboard right here from IKEA. It was useful, but it wasn't really a practical use of the space, so we've custom built this into here basically, and it's just all using sheets of melamine, and they've just been cut down to size. Yeah, up the front inside we've got more going on. So up the front I have a second, well, when I say second, it's a spare lithium battery that I usually use to run my CB radio and my dash cam full time. So that way when I'm parked up somewhere, it's always running, and just in case that anything actually happens, like somebody try to break into the van, for example, I've at least gotten something on footage. So yeah, it's always helpful. Over on the driver's side, I've got a magnet mount for my phone. Up the top obviously is a GoPro mount. So yeah, I do, as you've probably noticed already, I do like to do my time lapses while I'm driving, so that's usually where the GoPro lives. So yeah, but underneath the passenger seat, if I slide this forward, I have my DC to DC charger. So this will charge from either my solar panel or from my alternator, or both, just depending on what's giving the best. If the vehicle's driving, then most of the time it'll feed from the alternator, unless I've got the solar panel sitting somehow on the passenger seat. That goes back down to my my house batteries, and yeah, it's all happy days with that. No complaints yet. Was the setup time, setup procedure. It was just a little bit tricky, just because I am using lithium batteries rather than, you know, AGMs or calcium batteries. But that's the price you pay. I'll leave a link in the description for all of the products I do have in here. So if you do want to go and get them yourself, you can. I don't make any money off those, so you're welcome. But yeah, if you have any other questions, please drop them in the comments below, and I will attempt to answer as many of them as I can. But yeah, for now I'm going to sign off and enjoy watching this storm roll past, and hopefully we don't get drenched. I'll catch us next time.
We're rising, we're falling, we're making moves. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. We're rising, we're falling, we're making moves. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000.
Well, it was quite a night. The rain sort of stayed semi around, but it's more been just drizzly sort of stuff, as you can probably hear. But I'm gonna head out to Parks today and check out the satellite telescope again out there. I didn't get a chance to do everything that I wanted there, so we're gonna do that again today. And yeah, then I think I'm going to be heading back towards Bathurst later tonight. So yeah, we'll see how we go out at Parks. I may end up parking up out there, but we won't know until I get out there. So let's get to it. First we got to pack up.
Come and fly away, come and fly away, come and fly away with me. Come and fly away, come and fly away, come and fly away with me. Something's gonna bring the change, journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away.
So I've just stopped in at a little town called Yeovil. It's a very small, very typical country town. It's basically 2 or 3 streets in size, and yeah, you basically slow down to 50 kilometers an hour for like 2 minutes, and then you back up to like 100 kilometers an hour straight away. I pulled in here because there's a Banjo Patterson museum literally right there, and I just wanted to give it a shout out because they do a bacon and egg roll for, get this, $5. Yep. And the bacon and egg roll was, I just had one, and oh my gosh, it is so amazing. It was probably the best bacon and egg roll I've had in a long time. So if you're in Yeovil, definitely stop in and check it out. They've got a full museum of Banjo Patterson and Henry Lawson and all Australian poets from like turn of the century sort of era. So yeah, if you're in the area, definitely stop in and check them out. And without further ado, let's go on to Gulgong. So I arrived in Gulgong and been for a bit of a wander around town, and come into the Prince of Wales hotel, and just having a quiet bevy with mum and dad, and I look over and there's a nice poster over here. Team of the Century. So it was of the team that was in place in 2008, because obviously Gulgong has had, it's been involved in in football for 100 years at this point. But yeah, can anybody else spot Captain America? Yeah, she's right there. So check this out. Yep,
That's him.
that's Steve Rogers. So yeah, apparently when he travelled back in Avengers Endgame, Endgame, that was the last one. He did a slight detour over into Australia and played footy for a little bit. So yeah, bit of random history, but yeah, there you go.